All right, hello and welcome to another Expert Inside interview. My name is John Golden from SalesPOP, online sales magazine and Pipeliner CRM, joining you as usual from a sunny San Diego. And today I'm delighted to be joined by Kevin Downey, who is actually in Florida by way of Normandy, Kansas, correct?
Yeah, Kansas City, absolutely.
Yeah, and Kevin, you're a Kansas City-based recruitment entrepreneur, built one of the most effective hiring machines in the country, almost entirely on the back of cold B2B email, and we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
You raised in a family of immigrant entrepreneurs, turned a small tile business and one into one of America's largest European tile importers. You dominated sales in the golf industry. Slazenger, Callaway's up the road from here
Yep,
in North County, San Diego.
exactly. Right.
Uh, in fact, there's a guy who used to live up the road who worked he was high up in Callaway, and and then, you founded your recruitment firm in 2014 with one single rule: outwork and outperform every competitor. And you have been able to scale a data driven hiring system fueled by hyper targeted prospect lists and cold email campaigns. So, let me talk to you first of all about today. Like most recruitment agencies and those, they all focus on, they focus on like LinkedIn and job boards and stuff like that, and outreach and that. Tell me about your approach.
From a recruitment standpoint or
Yeah, from a recruitment
from a
standpoint. Yeah.
recruitment standpoint? So we use a number of different vehicles. I would say LinkedIn's part of it.
Mhm.
Indeed is part of it, but we do our marketing otherwise, and certainly we use email and cold outreach and all that stuff as part of our talent acquisition process, right? We got to find the best talent we can for our clients.
Mhm. But you had particular success with B2B email when at a time when a lot of people were kind of abandoning it or saying that it's dead, etc. So how come you've been able to make it work when other people are claiming it doesn't?
Well, I think the challenge to make email successful, it's certainly the most successful lead generation medium for
Mhm.
B2B companies there is, hands down. There's nothing that's going to touch it, but you got to do it right. Part of the problem with email for most companies is they don't have the right infrastructure and they don't use the right copy strategy.
Mhm.
So what we want to do with email is number one, you got to have the right infrastructure to send volume. So you need to have a combination of, let's say, Apollo and an email API, or Smartlead combined with Reif, just as an example, right? So that you can build a system that can send thousands of emails per day at a bare minimum, right? That's part of it. And
Mhm.
then the other part's the copy strategy. Most companies fail with email beyond the volume challenge because they misunderstand what they should be doing with email. So they try to use it with a marketing, like more of as a
Yeah.
marketing strategy, to try to drive people to pages and drive people to
Yeah.
calls and all that stuff, but that's not what works. We want to think about it like email copy should be the same thing you do on a cold call. That's the
Mhm.
rule, right? Johnny, do you have this problem? If you
Yeah.
do, I can help you solve it. This is what I want you to do next. I want
Right.
you to reply. I'm going to send you this, and I'm going to give you a call to action, and then I'm going to call you.
Mhm.
That's how you do email and make it work day after day.
Right. And you get really high open rates. So talk to me a little bit about
Sure.
what do you do to get such fantastic open
I
rates?
mean, open rates come down to the funny thing is everybody when we watch what other companies do on their own, when clients come to me and
Mhm.
that kind of thing, we see it over emphasis on trying to write subject lines that
Mhm.
are going to get people to open, but that's not really what you should be doing. Subject lines are kind of like voicemail. You want to be vague enough to get them to open it. So
Mhm.
subject lines are actually really simple, and I learned this from somebody else. I can't take credit for this rule. Subject line rule of thumb is write a subject line like you're writing an email to somebody within a company that is in the same company you work for, but that you don't know.
Right.
That's it. So you're not pitching in subject lines, just like
Mhm.
voicemail. We don't pitch in voicemail. We're trying to get them to open the email. That's it,
Mhm. And
right?
yet, yeah, I mean, and yet you see that all these clever different, like, clever
Right,
subject lines or the
right.
emoji heavy ones, which thankfully seem to be going away a bit now.
Yes. Yeah, if we're trying to drive leads, just think about it like from a layman's perspective. Think about it from a sales department's perspective.
Mhm.
What would you do on a cold call? That's exactly what your emails should look like in a slightly modified fashion. block style copy, very short, all text. Again, do you have this pain point? If you do, I can help you solve it. This is what I have. This is what I want you to do next. I want you to reply, and I'm going to send you stuff that I offer to you in the email, and then I'm going to follow up and call you.
Yeah.
That's business development 101.
Yeah, and then obviously, there's the whole personalization part as well, which most people just think is, putting in your first name and maybe company name. And now with, maybe using some AI tools, it'll go and, look at you and then come up with something about, oh, hey, Kevin, you live in Kansas, that city, that's fantastic. Are you
Right.
whatever? Do you like this coffee shop that closed down 2 years ago?
I mean, but would you do that on a cold call? That's my question. Like when I see that stuff, I'm like my legal entity is different than my DBA, right? As are many companies,
Sure.
right? So you insert 4i Services, my legal entity, into the email somehow. I automatically know you don't know what that's automated, right? So you've completely lost any credibility. Like, don't overthink it. Just like the only thing we really use for clients, and again, I sold my book of business for email, and now I just train clients on it. So if they want to reach out, I can help them. But it all comes down to just first name. Just use their first name. Like that's really the only thing we use. Last name maybe, company name occasionally to mix up the subject lines. But generally speaking, in the copy, we're never using anything but somebody's first name. That's it.
Yeah. And talk me through the concept of building lists, because people to talk about, oh, you got to build your list. But
Sure.
I get different definitions, different approaches from different people. Talk to me about like the fundamentals of list building.
Well, I mean, when we say build lists, excuse me. So I think some people infuse the idea that they need to build an opt-in list, which you don't need to do for email, right? That's a waste of time. Like you're going to reach out to them to try to get them to subscribe, to then turn around and email them again. That makes no sense. In the United States, it's completely legal to cold email people as long as you follow the basic rules. You got to have a physical address in your signature. You got to give them an opt-out, and you can't be evasive. You can't bait and switch or use a subject line that's about one thing and your email's about something else. But other than that, it's totally legal to do. And if they say, hey, don't email me again, then you don't email them again. But that's really all you have to do from a legal perspective. And again, I'm not giving legal advice.
No, absolutely.
But I know the rules, having done it.
Exactly.
100 whatever million emails. I know the rules. So
yeah.
But you don't need an opted-in list. Like we build Apollo is what we use for historically for us and for clients. I put clients on Apollo and we build lists there. It's the best list building system, I would say, for email. For the price, it's the best system out there available.
Right. And it's interesting so far. It's just like make the subject interesting but vague enough so it gets open, but it's not a bait and switch, right?
I mean, I will say right on this podcast, like if you want to take a simple subject line, and we haven't changed ours in 5 years, it's their first name dash sales rep, first name dash team member. I mean, you don't overthink it. Just what is it going to do? What is it that you can say that's vague enough to get them to open the email? That's what you're trying to do. I mean, that's just being honest.
Yeah. And then, like you said, in the rest of it, then make it like you would if you were having a conversation with the person, or you're making it if you were on a call with the person. Don't try to be all cutesy and clever. I can't stand the humor ones are the ones that really get me, to be honest.
Well, sometimes they are funny. Like I read stuff,
funny, but I've seen ones that I go, haha, that's really funny, but it's never gotten me to reply.
No, and some stuff, obviously you get, the folks, and again, no disrespect to anyone, you get the folks from overseas doing stuff, and their English isn't all that great, let's say, and they've got all kinds of things going wrong with their emails, right? But all things being equal, I mean, at the end of the day, just think about it like the way I learned is I followed what everybody else did when I first started. I followed what everybody did on YouTube. I followed the same copy strategies for about 3 months, and I was like, this doesn't make sense. This isn't what we would do on a cold call, because we're trying to drive leads. We're not marketing to people for marketing's sake. We're trying to generate leads. How do we generate leads? Well, we got to find out if they have a pain point. So I said, all right, let's voice our email, transcribe it, which obviously we now have technology to do easily. And now let's make that an email that's like legible.
Right.
But that's it. Don't overthink it. Just be straightforward. Like our email for us is very simple. I mean, can you use sales or could use help, with inside sales rep or generating leads for your existing sales team. If you can, we can help you.
Mhm.
That's it. That's all it is.
Right. And tell me a little bit about one of the things that people struggle a lot with is the spam filters, the changing regulate
Yep.
things that Google and stuff change stuff all the time. How do you stay up to date on all of that and make sure that number one you're compliant, but also you're doing your best to avoid the spam traps?
Right. So you got, there's two physical structures or infrastructures that we would build. The first one is more of a brute force tactic, and your ability to stay out of the spam box is not as high, but it works because you can run volume. And that's like
Mhm.
Apollo combined with an email API.
Mhm.
You run one domain, you can run on an email address, you can run 6,000 emails a day. But if you're looking at, to answer your question, if you're looking at the long-term structure that you should build, think about it like the math model is 20 domains, 100 email addresses on those 20 domains, and you're sending no more than 25 cold emails a day. You're running 25 reputation management emails across those email addresses per day, and you're spin taxing your emails. And you've got a targeted list. If you do all of that, you'll be fine for the long run. You can
Right.
run emails for as long as you want.
Yeah, and talk to just a couple of the things that you said there. What tools do you use for that?
So on that kind of structure, you would be looking at like, let's say from a server-based system, and there's multiple vendors in this
Mhm.
space. It's not
Sure.
like you could use Google Workspace email addresses, let's say, or you could use Microsoft 365. But I'm partial uh, what's the name of it? Sorry, I lost what's the name of the server base? Mail Reef. Sorry,
Mailer,
lost
okay.
my brain there for a
Mhm.
second. Mail Reef is a great system. You can do all your domains there. You can do all your email addresses right there. And they have a brand new campaign management system. So you can do everything within that platform. But if you want a platform other than that to use, you could combine MailReef with Smartlead. Smartlead instant people have heard of instantly. I've never used it. I hear it's okay. Smartlead is one I've always liked. I think they do a very good job for campaign management system with that.
Yeah, no, excellent, excellent. And as you were saying there, really understanding like the pain points and the audience that you're trying to go after. So,
Right.
and when you're building email sequences, are you building the same pain point? Are you different pain points? Are you trying different? What
Good,
is what
good
is the
question.
difference?
So we don't do sequences either,
There
right?
you go.
So we send one email at a time, hit everybody in our list, and then when we're done with that list, then we send the next email to everybody that didn't reply and everybody that didn't unsubscribe. Because we're threaded emails in sequences is
Mhm.
very easy to read as automated. We want
Right.
to come off as though we're not automated. So we want to ask them very straightforward single email. Would you send threaded emails as a human to somebody? No, of course not. So we
Mhm.
want to do the same thing we would do as a human. One email at a time. This is what I want to ask you. That's it. We're trying to get a response. The most important metric is reply rate. It's not open, it's not
Mhm.
clicks, it's replies. That's what you're trying to get. Even if they're negative replies, that's better than nothing.
No, absolutely, and I think a lot of people try to, we try to comfort ourselves with open rates sometimes, like, and without
Doesn't
real,
matter.
and ignoring the reality is that it's the reply rates.
I literally do not care what the open rate is on anything. I mean, yes, for comparing apples to apples to look at technologies and look at
Mhm.
systems and what you're doing. Yes, of course, as being in the space, I keep track of that stuff a little bit. But at the end of the day, I tell clients, don't worry about the open rate. Who cares what the open rate is? Like I can have 35, 40% of the emails blocked, but if I get a 1%, reply rate,
Mhm.
I'm doing good,
Yeah,
right?
no,
At the end of the day.
no, absolutely, absolutely, and also I think it's really important to understand the metrics that really count at the end of the day, because we're love to throw around lots of metrics and statistics that don't really make any difference at all.
Yeah, I mean, who cares if I mean, yes, again, we want to watch our
Mm.
stuff and we want to
Yeah.
watch our technology, and open rates therefore matter to a degree because you're watching the health of everything. But at the end of the day, from a metric standpoint, all I care about is leads. Like in
Mhm.
B2B anyway, with email, all I care about is, are we driving leads?
Yeah.
Like, even if we have a good reply rate, but all of it's negative, then okay, then we've got to figure out something. Where are we targeting the wrong people? What are we doing wrong? Do what we have has no value to anyone? I don't know. I mean,
Mhm.
but I'm looking for replies. That's the
Right.
main thing we're watching.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
So, in your experience in other industries, what did you carry into what you're doing today, like from the golf industry or from real estate?
I mean, I think sales. I think the biggest thing now that we're talking about with everything that's so interesting is in say B2B in
Mhm.
particular,
Yeah.
business to business companies is sales team infrastructure and the way we're changing it, the way we're driving leads. Um, we historically, if we think the old school, like when I was young, a rep would be responsible for their own prospecting.
Yep.
And you would go out and visit, call on 50,
Mhm.
20, 25, 30 people in a day, and you could have 15 conversations. Well, now we can't have that anymore, right?
Mhm.
It's much harder. Everybody's remote,
Yeah.
everybody's all over the place, right? So now we have to think about our sales team infrastructure and say, okay, what are we doing that makes sense? And so what we're seeing as a pattern or a theme is fewer salespeople, more email and more business development that is separated to drive them leads and appointments, which doesn't sound new, but in reality, it's really a big difference maker because I want my $100,000 sales rep talking to leads all day. I want them
Yeah.
talking to prospects. I don't want them fishing for information, trying to find who the decision maker is at
Mhm.
XYZ company. Doesn't make
Right.
any sense. I want them talking to prospects. They're salespeople. Right? I want the people doing business development to do
Absolutely.
business development, right?
Mhm.
I mean, from a financial standpoint, that's what we see as a pattern and as a theme. It's just small business, even mid-market, very hard to justify $100,000 base salaries to sit there and cold call for 16 or 6 to 18 months. It doesn't make sense,
No, 100%, absolutely,
right?
and it's, and it's a challenge because, there's a lot of companies aren't really set up for that to
True.
continue to fill the pipe, fill the pipeline, fill
Yeah.
the or they're a hybrid of both or whatever it is.
Right.
But
Right.
as you say, like very rarely do you have something that's really well set up and that's keeping them busy all day long.
Yeah, the people that are moving forward in the right direction are building systems to identify decision maker in B2B,
Mm.
let's say.
Yes.
Identify decision maker, identify pain points, which is lead generation and then appointment setting, but some mix of that with a team that then is driving stuff to the salespeople, and we have fewer salespeople and more dedicated business. I mean, we have one client that recruits business development reps almost nonstop, or
Mm.
technically in Latin America for that company,
Right.
and we recruit US and Latin America, but we're recruiting Latin America for them. They have a ratio of 3 business development reps for every account executive. So in other
Mm.
words, it's not just a 1-to-1, like
Yeah.
in this case, it's a 3-to-1 ratio of dedicated business development. Those people are probably on average, let's just say $1,500 a month USD.
Yeah.
So they're spending $4,500 a month to drive the guy that makes 125,000 base leads and appointments all day long. Right? Now, does
Yeah.
the math work better? Absolutely it does, because 'cause they're
Mhm.
growing that side of their business, right? They're doing very well.
Yeah.
That's why, because it doesn't make sense for that guy that's 125 grand who probably doesn't want a cold call anyway, to have him sit there and do 25 outreaches a day. It makes no
Mhm.
sense,
No, no, absolutely.
alright?
And just and tell me finally, what impact, we just briefly mentioned AI. What impact is AI having, and where do you see that helping you
Good
or not?
question.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a rabbit hole conversation. So I
Sure.
would say on a basic level, my introduction to AI. So I'm really involved with a company called Active Index,
Mhm.
and very involved there, and I'm a strategic advisor that utilizes AI very heavily. Prior to that, though, I was not really a believer.
Right.
I used AI for spin taxing emails, and then I would manually copy edit them, and I could see AI had a lot of neat stuff going on there, but like with sales, like having AI make phone
Mhm.
calls. I'm still not a fan of the idea of how you going to get it through a phone tree. Like,
Mhm.
how are you going to get it to the right extension? Like, I think it'll get there, but I don't
Mhm.
think we're there yet, right? Can you have a dynamic conversation with AI?
No.
I don't know. It doesn't seem like it, but maybe. We're probably going to get there.
We'll probably get there, but not right now.
Right. But to answer your question, and this is somewhat unrelated, but I was not a believer in AI until I got involved with Active Index, and I saw what their AI did, and it's it's business changing. It's
Mhm.
unbelievable when it's utilized in a way that it can be used. It's not asked to do something it can't do. It is unbelievable. AI is going to change so much. I was a non-believer. I am totally a believer now. Totally a believer.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I mean, we use it extensively, built it into the product and everything. But the nice thing though, Kevin, is that we feel that AI, when used properly, actually enhances human engagement. You know, it gives you the opportunity
Yes.
for better human engagement.
So what I learned at Aptiv, and again, not to take it off topic, what
Mm,
I learned at Aptiv and watching the way we utilize quick queries into AI, because
yeah,
that's really the skill set. Nobody
yeah.
talks about it very much, but the
Hmm.
skill set is teaching your people how to query
Yep.
AI to help it help them, right?
Hmm.
That's what I learned at Aptiv Index when I started playing with the AI, and we played around with it, and I learned from the CEO some stuff. It's amazing what you can learn, what you can have it help you do, what you can have it help you achieve, but there's still a human element on the front end to query it to get to where you want to
Yeah.
go. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, completely, completely. And I think once people get used to having conversations, that it's there, have a conversation with the AI. That's what you do, and develop on your prompts and get into it, and get the
Correct.
feedback and
Yes.
all of that. Yeah, people just think people are still a lot of people are still using it like Google, where they just put in like what they think is a search term instead of a prompt, put it in once and go, oh, okay, and off they go, instead of going, no, 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 dig like you would in a
Right.
conversation,
Yes.
and go
Yes.
down
Yes.
deeper.
Yes.
Yeah.
It really is amazing. Again, I'm 50, mid 50s. I really wasn't sold on it until I got in there and I started playing with the AI, which has got a name. It's called Aria. And I
Mhm.
started playing with that AI and watching what it could do to tell me about people that had already taken
Yeah.
the assessment and how you can interact with those people and how you can position them into jobs. All of that stuff AI can
Mhm.
help people in companies help themselves. It makes them more powerful. It doesn't take jobs away, it makes them more powerful.
Yeah,
That's the part that just excites me about AI.
it does, it does. And tying it back to email, by the way,
Yeah.
is here's a tip. Here's a tip for everybody out there. If you're going to send out emails and they're going to have your name or your company, and particularly if they're going to have your name on it, right? Please go and search yourself up on all the different AI tools, right? Go to ChatGPT,
Oh,
go
yeah.
to Perplexity, go to Grok, go to all of them and search yourself and your company name, because guess what? That's what your prospect's going to do, and see what comes up. It's very different now from the old thing of like just putting in the Google search or whatever and you get your LinkedIn
It
profile.
is.
Now it's actually going to do a summary of who AI thinks you are. So I would just encourage everybody who's in sales or in marketing or sending out anything, if your name is associated with anything that goes out, check what comes up when you do an
Yep.
AI search on yourself. You might get a bit of a shock.
Yeah, AI is just we're probably on a bell curve at just the
Yeah.
ramp up stage, right?
Mhm.
I'm doing this in reverse on camera, but like
Yeah.
we're probably just at the beginning stages. And what it can do, I've already seen like stuff that we're not doing in Aptiv, what's going to be in the future.
Mhm.
It's it is in a way almost frightening. Like
Yeah.
it's pretty darn good. Like it will help people do their jobs so much more effectively, more efficiently. It'll teach them things that they
Mhm.
didn't know. I think on the front end, I'll just say this: like I thought AI was going to be all about replacing people, but
Mhm.
that's not
Mhm.
really what it's doing.
No.
It's taking the place of another manager or a human that's
Yeah.
interacting with that person to help give them feedback and like give
Mhm.
stuff that they then can think about, and it just keeps giving you information and ideas and thoughts, and you're doing it automatically, and
Yeah.
it's very intelligent, no pun intended. It's just not what I thought it was going to be as an
Yeah.
older business person. It really is valuable.
Yeah, no,
Very
it is, and I think very, and then quite exciting because like I said, we agree with you. We think it's going to, the people who embrace it, it's going to enhance them and make them more valuable. I think the only people, I think the people who are going to get replaced are the people who don't figure out how to use it to increase their value. And if you don't, then it could probably replace you.
I saw a job ad for someone that is an AI query specialist.
There you go.
One of my staff did and sent it to me. That's the future. That is what, if that doesn't tell you anything, like teach your people, like I hear all these leaders talk about embracing AI to your point, but they talk about it in the sense of teach your people to teach themselves how to use AI.
Yeah.
Learn, embrace it, right? Don't reject it. You know what I mean? Sorry about that.
No worries.
All right. So yeah, embrace it, don't reject it, right? That's the thing.
Absolutely.
And it's just, if you do, you're on the right path. If you're not frustrated, what did one lady say I saw in an interview? If you're not frustrated with AI as a company, then you're not using it yet.
Yeah.
You need to start using it. Because that's the telltale sign, right?
Exactly. No, perfect. Well, listen, thanks very much, Kevin, for joining us today. All of Kevin's information will be below this video. But before we go, please do remind people about what you do.
Oh, sure. Sales team recruitment and outsourcing. So everybody within a sales department, we recruit, including remote reps in Latin America, but everybody in the United States, of course. And then outsourcing. We have an outsourced inside sales team that we do sales and business development for, mostly B2B companies, but we do some B2C there too.
Excellent. Well, listen, thanks again, Kevin. Thank you for watching and listening, and I will see you all again very soon. Thank you.